Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Maybe I'm afraid of the way I leave you. Maybe I'm amazed at the way you help me sing my song. Right me when I'm wrong. Maybe I'm amazed at the way I really need you.
Oh, here we go. 10:29 on this beautiful 10th day of January. Before we all start hating our lives on Friday evening when it's 1 degree outside. Yeah, did they ever make anything on a kayak to break up ice as you're kayaking? Or,
not a safe thing to do.
not a safe thing to do. Never mind.
Not to say that it hasn't been done, but wouldn't be recommended.
The water trail would never recommend that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I always love talking with you, Craig, and just talking all things Mississippi River Water Trail, talking about just nature in general, because we have such a beautiful landscape that we should be out exploring when we can and getting away from your damn phone screen. Just my soapbox rant today, but coming up on the 20th of January, Mississippi Meanderings. This is a fun event. I mean, this is really cool, Craig.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be at the National Great Rivers Museum, and on the 20th, we're bringing in Dale Sanders, legendary Dale Sanders, who paddled the entire length of the Mississippi, 2,300 miles in 2022, and he broke the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest person to do that at age 87. So we're going to have him there. And there was a documentary crew that was with him the entire time filming it. And we've got that 90-minute film, and we're going to play that film, and then everybody can talk to Dale afterwards.
That's really cool. Now, how long of a journey was he on? Cruising down the river.
Yeah, he did that journey in 87 days. You know, he's 87 years old.
Wow.
So he wanted to do it in 87 days, and that's what happened.
That's incredible. And Dean, take me to this event too, because I was telling Craig last year, I think this is such a cool and unique way, especially in the winter months, to get out and about and just enjoy. Take me through what Mississippi Meandering just means to you before we get into the deep dive of this conversation.
Sure. Well, I think we've been doing this 10 years, maybe a little bit longer. I've been lucky enough to be part of many of those. I really think this is just kind of an excuse for those of us who really love the river and are in the paddling community to get together in the middle of winter when it's a lot harder to get outside and enjoy the river directly. We get to hang out with each other, share some companionship and some stories. And this year, it's a good chance for us to celebrate Dale's remarkable accomplishment, but also just to sort of go deeper into the experience of being a long-distance paddler on the Mississippi and appreciating that.
Well, and it's really, to me, I don't even think of it. I think of it more as an art form, and I'll tell you why. Because I was starting to watch this just on YouTube. I got stuck into the rabbit hole of it, and just seeing the talent and just the skill that you have to really do those long paddles. I mean, that is incredible. Incredible strength and really just discipline, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes into it with the gear and the fitness and everything to get ready. Months of planning and preparation to take on a trip like that. And he's done it twice now. He broke the Guinness record when he was 80 years old. And then Dan Stark actually broke his record at age 82. And Dale was bound and determined to get his record back, and so he did it when he was 87.
And what's that mean for you guys as paddlers, too, to see somebody that's older going, that record's coming back home to me?
It's exciting. What was exciting is that he carries kind of a spot tracker. We're able to track him, and we knew when he was coming into the St. Louis area, so a lot of us went out and paddled with him. We paddled 25 miles with him, of the 2,300 when he was in the area. So that was a lot of fun to kind of hang out with him on his long journey.
This is incredible. I mean, that to me is really cool, because that to me is what the activity and just being outside in nature is all about, is being together and just exploring and enjoying life together and seeing the beauty around us too, and the beauty of his story on top of it. I mean, that is one of the best stories. I think you can't write that in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Right. And you just kind of feel like if some 88-year-old managed to break the record, that Dale would be out there at 90 to take it back. So.
Have you had a chance to talk with Dale?
Yeah, I've been talking to him just kind of leading up to the event and everything, and he's pretty excited. He did it in 2022 and then went to a lot of filming shows across the country, and so he was pretty busy and for a while there. But now he's coming to St. Louis, and we're going to enjoy having him here.
Man, this is really cool. I'm telling you what, that's an interview anyone would love to be a part of, and just a Q&A that people would want to be a part of too. And now the event itself starts at noon on that Saturday, correct?
Yeah, we're going to have a meet and greet for an hour, so folks can show up at noon and check in. Now, you have to pre-register. You can go to our website, MississippiRiverWaterTrail.org, and find out how to register, or go onto our Facebook page, and it'll get you to the registration page, and you can register. So,
well, and now take me through the day, because this is something I think is really cool. It's always structured really well. There's not a lot of time to kind of wait around. There's always something new happening here to keep things moving and really just keep people talking about the river.
Yeah. We're going to have that meet and greet for an hour, and then we're going to do a couple things, talk about the Mississippi River Water Trail with the group, and honor our Volunteer of the Year award from our group and everything. And then we're going to have a little talk about source to sea paddlers. So just in general, what is the nature and the history of source to sea paddling and everything, and have about a half-hour discussion about that before we get into the 90-minute documentary of Dale's journey, and then we'll have Dale come up and do a question and answer session.
Well, then afterwards, if you're still froggy and wanting some more, you have an optional dinner opportunity at Old Bakery Brewery, and I'm telling you, they have some great dinner.
Yeah, we're thankful that they're going to have us over. Probably going to be a pretty good sized crowd going over there at 5:30 or so.
Now, this is reserved to about 90 people, correct?
Yeah, about 90 folks. It's the auditorium holds about 100 people, and there's some of our volunteers and the Water Trail folks will be there too. So we're going to try to limit the registration to about 90. Then.
Really cool. And why don't we do this? Because I got to take a quick break anyway. I'll take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking for a little bit longer, because I love this. I think it's so cool to be out there and really exploring the Mississippi River and realizing how important it is, not just for our region, but for the country. I mean, there's so many resources from terms of commerce, but also just natural beauty that you aren't going to get anywhere else but right here if you're located on the river. It's 10:36 on this 10th day. It's a Wednesday morning in the heart of the 618. More of our daily show hits you right after this on RiverBender.com. When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
10:38. Welcome back. I love that no one can hear us until I just slide that up. That's my favorite part of the show. Is everyone goes, "What are you guys saying when you're coming back?" You got to be in the studio to find out. Book a show now. Hey, as we're coming back, Craig, just talking about the Mississippi River a little bit more. This point in the year, to me, it's fun as just an observer because I love watching the river get iced over and just seeing that look and that picturesque setting of Clark Bridge. But to me, why is the Mississippi River truly so important, not only for just recreational activity, but also for, the longevity of our region?
Yeah, it's just it really not appreciated enough. It's a great place to paddle, and it's something that unlike most of the rivers in Missouri, like the Merrimack and the Current River, and anybody can jump in a canoe and get out there and paddle. But with the Mississippi, there's a skill, and so you really should take a clinic of something. You need to know what kind of gear to wear. You need to know how to interact with the commercial traffic, with the barge traffic and the recreational boats and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's not something that someone should just jump in a kayak and take off. They really should get that training. We provide that training, and there are other groups in town that provide that training. But big river paddling is a skill, and you really need to be trained. But be that said, getting out there and the serenity and there's just lots of places up and down the Mississippi to paddle, and we have one of the most beautiful spots right here with the bluffs from Alton to Grafton. It's just one of the most prettiest places on the whole Mississippi River.
Can't beat it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you too about that because to me the one thing that always sticks in my mind with kayaking on the river is the current. And I don't think people realize that we have a pretty strong current on the river at times. That's just what I've noticed, especially because the way I look at it, if I'm driving down the road and that water's moving pretty quick, that means on the water it's moving even faster. That's just me anyway.
Yeah, and it does vary throughout the year based on what's going on in the level and that kind of thing. But we have 29 dams on the Mississippi River, and it just so happens that here in Alton is the last dam on the river, and it's free flowing from here all the way down to New Orleans. So that actually creates a lot of pools upstream all the way up into Minnesota, and so the current can be a lot less in those pool sections and everything. But there's ways to find out what the current is and the level and that kind of thing if you know where to look on the web.
And how did you, if it's okay to ask both of you, what was your first experience on the Mississippi like? Because I feel like that, big muddy experience is one you always remember that first time being out there.
Yeah, it's a little intimidating, and I appreciate the fact that new folks that come and talk with us are a little intimidated too, because I certainly was.
You should be.
And, yeah, and so I got that training and got prepared and ready to go, but I was certainly intimidated when I went out there. I don't know, what do you think, Dean?
Well, I was kind of young and dumb, so I was a college student in La Crosse, Wisconsin at the time, and a buddy and I just grabbed a canoe and we went down to a boat ramp, and we decided to head upriver for a while because we were trying to get up to an island that was upriver of La Crosse. So we fought against the current for a good hour or so until we finally found an island with a nice little beach, and we pulled over and we just had this great afternoon lounging in the sun, relaxing, going for a swim, and then it took us about 10 minutes. It was all going back. So I remember that experience very well, though.
That's really cool. I just love it because to me those are all parts of our life story too, and just remembering those little moments in anything's really cool. And as an individual is going to you guys for the first time to learn really the proper way to be on the river and how to respond to commercial traffic, that's something I would have never even thought of, and you should with how many barges are right here. Believe it or not, off the record or off the subject, not off the records, I'm on the air. I watched a barge turn around in the Mississippi River yesterday at Ingrek. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. I thought I could park pretty well, but that guy's a pretty good driver.
Really good.
But what's that first step? What are those first conversations like when you're working with someone that's newer, that's never big river paddled before? What's that conversation?
Yeah, you really just need to talk them through it because, again, the intimidation factor. And what's great is there's just excellent technology out there with the GPS and there's apps that you can put on your phone you can actually identify where all the barges are and kind of anticipate your trip and where you're going to go. And you can talk to the pilots of the barges with the marine radio and that kind of thing. So the technology is really good to make it possible to get out there and kayak safely.
Now, sorry, Dean.
No, I was going to say, like, I think for us, like, one of the things that we try to do is walk that line between helping people respect the river but not being afraid of it. Because there's so many stories about how dangerous the river is. Almost all of them are overstated.
Yeah.
So we want to kind of make sure to get past those initial fears, but let people respect the river and know that they need to learn certain skills to be able to paddle safely.
Just because I'm curious, what's that look like when you are next to a barge and you have to kind of, get out of the damn way, it kind of seems like.
Yeah, and you really need to see them coming because they're pretty quiet out there sometimes. So your head's got to be on a swivel a little bit. but certainly way before they get anywhere close to you, you need to get way out of the way. They have to stay into the channel, and those red and green buoys out there. That's where they're going to be, and there's a lot of water on either side of those buoys. So best thing for you to do is get out of the channel and stay really, really clear of them. So
really fascinating.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we were talking about that discussion of long distance paddling from source to
sea.
Oh, I almost had the first time I botched something today, and it's on the last interview. And Dean, you'll be giving this presentation, correct?
Yeah, so there's a really surprisingly long history of people who do long distance paddles on the Mississippi. So I'm going to do what I can in 30 minutes to do justice to some of that, and I'm going to probably skew more towards some of the older paddlers that maybe we don't know as much about. So there are some complicated people who've done this, but probably Willard Glazier was the first person who actually completed a source-to-sea paddle, and he did that in early 1880s.
Wow.
But he was, let's say, sometimes with his writing, it was a little hard to tell fact from fiction. So we're not entirely sure how much of the paddling he actually did during that trip. Probably he did most of it.
It happens when you eat those morning glory seeds.
Right, and when you're a writer famous for sort of embellishing things anyway, when you make your money from that.
Yep.
But really, like the modern character who kind of set the stage for the source to sea paddle was a Minnesotan named Alfred Tousley, who did the whole river in 1925.
Wow.
So I'll talk a little bit about him and his experiences. He wrote a book, so it's pretty easy to tell. He was a journalist by background, so he was
easy
pretty
to
good.
read.
Yeah, he was documenting things, a little dry at times, but he had some really interesting observations about the river at that time.
We were just touching on technology. You didn't have that in the 1800s and early 90s. When did the technology really start to evolve in terms of paddling, just in general? Do you guys know of that?
I don't know exactly, but I'd say within the last 10 years or so, it's really improved dramatically and certainly makes our life a lot easier in a lot of ways. So we're a lot more aware of what's going on. You can communicate with the folks that are operating the dams and prep them for your arrival and that kind of thing. So it's very helpful.
Do you all ever look back and go and think about the way you used to, paddle on the river without all the technology and go, whew, thank gosh, thank goodness for today.
Yeah.
Is that
exactly.
I imagine there are some things that are that way. Some people maybe have a little sense of nostalgia too for being able to do things a little more unencumbered or to figure it out as you go along. It's really hard to do that now because the river is so well mapped. There are towns along the way. So and with the technology, you can really plan things out and have a nice, safe paddle. Some people I know sort of miss that sense of adventure a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. There are some old timers out, and certainly much better paddlers than me. I know a lot of them personally. They've been on the river for so long that will tell you they don't need any of that technology, and by God, they probably don't. They're that good at it. So
it's incredible.
So they just know the river and they know where every wing dike is and how the it flows down the all the way down to New Orleans. So
wow. And we were just talking whenever we had the arrival of Greybeard coming in. What's his name?
Dale Sanders.
Dale Sanders. I don't know what's happened. I just kind of went into shell shock here. But I was thinking about this. Whenever you guys started paddling with Dale, when he made his arrival into this portion of the river, whenever people did long distance paddling in the 1900s, 1925, you said, was there any type of welcoming for the individuals that are kayaking through town to town and kind of passing by? Did that ever gain any steam, or was that just, here's somebody else on the river?
Sometimes it did. Some of them were networking with journalists along the way and got media coverage. So there's some really interesting newspaper articles I've been able to find from like the 1920s and 30s of folks who are doing this. One guy from the UK did not a source to sea paddle. He paddled most of the Mississippi with essentially no money. but relying on the help of the JCs, because he was a member of the JCs. So every time he networked with them and knew contacts and communities he was coming to, so he would have somebody there to help him out when he got there.
Wow.
So people found a way.
This is so cool. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
that aspect of it alone is what I think so cool, because to me, I imagine that as being an event. You know, here's this individual that's literally going 2,000 miles in paddling. That's a hell of an accomplishment, no matter what day and age you are. You know.
Yeah, it really is. It's very intimidating for a lot of folks, I'm sure. The other thing that's really helpful is there's river angels they call them river angels up and down the river, their term for that, and they have their own Facebook page, and so it's really good to know. When you get started, you know who those folks are and where they are along the river, because they can come out and give you a lot of help, you know, that you need, and supplies and that kind of thing.
That's super cool. That is really cool. And I love it because it gives you more of a reason to go and learn this skill and really be a part of it and take those, you know, opportunities and adventures. Because I think, this is just me, I think that we're getting that sense of adventure for so many people is starting to get smaller and smaller. And there's so many opportunities to go out and just try something new. And you have organizations like Mississippi River Water Trail that'll help you do it and learn. And Craig, are there any opportunities coming up for these classes that maybe, because I know that you guys do some classes throughout the winter and spring, correct?
Yeah, in the spring and summer, typically, and we try to do them earlier in the year to kind of prepare for the season and everything. So we're planning one on June 1st. We're kind of getting things put together. We're going to have a few of them. So, you know, just keep looking at our Facebook page and our website and everything. And if you want to learn how to paddle on the Mississippi, it's a 2-day course, 8 hours a day, and we'll take you through everything with the paddling strokes and the rescue maneuvers that you need to do, and all the gear that you need and that kind of thing. We can really prepare you to do that.
Well, that's why you definitely should, because if you think you can throw out your kayak out there the first time, you're in for a little bit of a shock, I think. With that being said, Craig, when was the last kayaking experience you had this year, or last year, I guess?
Yeah, I haven't been on the water for a while. It's been about a month or so. I got out on the Merrimack River for 7 miles or something like that in December. So I'm looking forward to getting out there again soon.
So Craig is one of the best segwayers ever. I don't know if you realize it, but that was my kind of question, is when you're on other rivers and other bodies of water when you're paddling, what is that compared to in terms of river, not really lake or anything, but in terms of Merrimack to Mississippi? Would you know, what are those experiences different like? And how does the Mississippi River differ from any of the other rivers that you guys have been on the water on?
Yeah, it really is completely different.
Is it?
There's a lot of we're lucky in with Missouri and all of the paddling rivers. There's tremendous amount of rivers in Missouri, and they're pretty easy going, except for on the upper parts of those rivers when they get kind of creaky and everything when they're first starting. But when they starting to widen out downstream, it's pretty easy paddling in comparison to the Mississippi, which has boils sometimes and wing dikes that create kind of a rapid right there that you need to get around, and obviously the barge traffic that you got to be aware of and that kind of thing. So it's really a lot different.
And those smaller rivers can be a little more volatile too. It doesn't take a lot of rain for some of those rivers to come up pretty fast.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
So that's a little different. Every river kind of has its own character, I think. And
It does.
The only answer is you have to go out on as many rivers as you can and go there as many times as you can, so you see it at different times a year and different water levels.
So I'm gonna take the chance. This is a different question. Now that we're on character here, this is a good one. Out of any character in any movie you've ever watched, what character would correlate to the Mississippi?
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
That's probably the best question I've asked in a long time.
Well, I mean, the easy answer is that, Mark Twain probably best.
Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of the cop-out answer. Let's see, because the Mississippi, it's been highly altered. Maybe it's like an aging movie star in some ways.
Yeah.
It's been through so much engineering, like all these facelifts, but still hanging around, still doing its thing. That's what I got off the top of my head.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of movies out there with folks paddling on the Mississippi River, so I don't.
I'm
nothing's
just,
coming to mind.
like any type of Disney, almost Disney animated, character. It's just because there's no way to really compare the river to anything else. It's kind of the bottom line there. And have you seen the movie yet? The documentary on this? Have you had a chance to watch it yet?
Yeah, it's really, really good.
I haven't yet. It'll be my first time at Meanderings. So
There you go. And it's pretty good, Craig, you said? Really good?
Yeah. It really is neat. It not only talks about his journey and everything that he had to go through, but it kind of goes through him and his life.
Yeah.
And all the way
at that.
from,
That's
there
so
he is
cool.
right there. So
Incredible.
just talking about Dale growing up and how that, grew up on a farm and all of that, and how he got to this point in with his age and everything to have the desire to paddle on the Mississippi River. It's a great documentary.
This is cool. And for more information on this, the Mississippi Meanderings Facebook event page is open. They have tickets that are linked. It's on brownpapertickets.com, but there's a link right there on the event that will take you right to it. And on the on-demand version, I'll link that into our description. So that way you don't have to start typing in 400 things. We'll take care of you. And Dean, Craig, man, this was fun. This was really cool. And I'm so glad to have you on the show today.
thanks for having us.
Thanks.
We'll take a quick pause here, 10:54 the time on this Wednesday morning. We'll take a little bit of a break. We'll come back with the All-Star Award and give the honor to the buffoon of the day.